What's up? What's up? What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Guys, it is May the 3rd, 2020. We have entered into a new month. Coming up on the 6:30 hour, guys, we have a great live show for you all. We want to talk everything Miami Dolphins, some of the stuff that has transpired over the last few days, what it means for those individuals, and what it means for the team as well. Shout out to everybody that was waiting in the comment section already. I was reading your comments. There was some interesting stuff that I actually want to talk about. Shout out to Sharif Kenshin being the first one in the building. Flipside Fishing, I see you as well. But somebody mentioned, I was reading the comments and somebody said, Greer is killing it. Big time GM of the year for sure. Well, I love that. I love hearing that. But at the same token, we have to let a little bit of time pass first before he gets the GM of the year, because we need to see what happens this year. What if it's all a bust? All of it just crumbles. Not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, it will not happen. But before we can deem him the GM of the year, we have to go ahead and let the season play out. See what happens is we have a gauge of 5-11. Now we get to sit back and see what the changes were worth. And that's also possibly without Tua Tagovailoa playing this year. What were the changes worth? Did the changes in one season, was it worth 4 games, 5 games, 6 games? And I started to sit here thinking while I was getting the stream ready, I started to say to myself, hold on. How many wins on top of 5 would mean Chris Grier nailed it this offseason via free agency and the draft? And Flores as well. But at the end of the day, this is the meat of everything that Grier gets credit for. So we want to stop and make sure we recognize him in this one. All right. So how many games, guys, if we won 5 games last season, how many games would constitute a successful offseason by Chris Grier going into another offseason? I want to hear from you all real quick. Let me know in the comment section, how many games would that be? I'm just curious. It piqued my interest here. How many games would constitute success for Chris Grier? So I'm going to check with y'all in the comment section, see what y'all are saying about it. Let's see. Okay. Somebody said 8. Somebody said 10. 9 to 10 wins. 10 wins. 8, 7 due to hard schedule. 10, 10. 4 to 6. Come on, Everett. Oh, maybe you're saying on top of 5. I'm going to take it like that. 8 or 9. 8 and 8. 9 and 7. 7 and 8. Ooh, y'all got some low expectations with these 7s. Y'all confusing me with these 7s. Come on, man. You're gonna say Grier, with the moves you made, you should win 2 more games. Is that what you're saying if you're saying 7? Or are you thinking about this quote-unquote hard schedule? Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about a hard schedule. Just because the teams that are on our schedule this year were good last year doesn't make it a hard schedule. I've seen many teams go 11-5 and the very next year go 7-9. And that 7-9 team wouldn't constitute a hard schedule. You don't know how hard the schedule is until you start to get into the season, into the schedule, to see how well teams are playing. On paper last year, some people said the Jets would win 11 games. They were trash. Okay? The Jets were trash, ladies and gentlemen. They were trash. All right? So, I mean, if we want to be fair here, some people said the Miami Dolphins would win 0 games, 1 game, 2 games. I don't think I've seen many predictions over 3. And we won 5. So in reference to we got a tough schedule, some of us are saying we got a tough schedule because we're going off of typical teams that have had a recent history of being good. Oh, we play Seattle. They've been good for quite some years. Okay, I see what you're saying here. But the season has to start. You'll be surprised that 2 out of the 7 or 8 great teams that we're playing next year might be trash. Might just be trash. So at the end of the day, I think that 7 wins, saying that's a success for Grier. Okay. If we went into this season with the exact same team that we had last season, I mean the exact same team, I would expect us to win 7 games from 5 to 7. More cohesiveness with the same group. These kids, most of the young players, which all of them are young, have matured more. They understand the system more. They understand what we're trying to accomplish. Without any changes this offseason, I would have expected at least 1 win, to say 6 or 7. But we brought in some really good players who have already played out their rookie season. They have played out their rookie contract, We brought in a lot of players that have passed the 4-year threshold and now are just fresh off of their rookie contract. And they understand all the nuances of this league. They understand what it is to hit a wall. They understand what it is. They just understand so much more, ladies and gentlemen. The longer you've been in this league, you understand so much more. And that's what and technically they're all veterans now. They're young veterans ready to take that next group of players and bring them to the next level. It's time for them to become teachers in this game. So I'm sorry, y'all. For those who are saying 7 wins, I would have expected that with no changes. But that's why I personally feel like to say that this is a success for Grier this offseason, no less than 8. And 8 is being very lenient to him. My emotions, feelings, my mind, all of it is telling me no less than 9. But I'm saying 8 to give a little wiggle room because the same thing that those guys have improved on last year, the camaraderie and understanding, we got a lot of new guys that have to do the same thing. But they should be able to do it a lot quicker, having been in this league a minimum of 4 years, most of them. So no less than 9. In week 15, if we're not in the playoff hunt, failure. Even if we miss it, in week 15, we should be in the playoff hunt. No questions asked. In the hunt. I don't care if it's a scenario. If this team lose and Dolphins win, they're in. Just give me a scenario in week 15 where you're still alive and it was a success. And in 2021, you finish it off and you become a perennial contender. It's that simple. It's that simple. So no, minimum 9. I see 10, maybe 11. But Grier, anything less than 9, I don't think you brought in the right pieces. You and Flores didn't bring, and I already know, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen. They're going to have a successful season this year. Actually, they're going to overachieve this year. I personally do believe it. They're going to play real tough against some great teams. They're actually going to start to get over the hump and beat some great teams, because what you all have to realize is we're not bringing in your typical veterans in a lot of cases. We have some players that we brought on this roster who has won Super Bowls. Let's not underestimate that, who has been through the journey, who understands the mental rigors of this game. And they're going to bring that to the table and make sure they instill some of those principles in some of these younger guys or the guys who are veterans. That's what we're going to be getting, man. Havoc once said, TD, that's a good number, but I'm just looking for progress next year and our foundation forming. See, that's my thing, though, Havoc. 7 wins ain't progress to me. Some things should happen naturally. Some things should happen naturally. Let's say the Miami Dolphins fight song, Miami Dolphins, Miami. If I don't know that song at all, and I try to sing it right now, I'm a bomb it. But I go listen to it, and then I try it again. I'm still going to get some of it wrong, but I'm going to have a little more right. Some growth is just natural. It's going to get better and better over time. So I don't count the natural growth. I need growth that is tangible to where you can see how we've made the impact. 7 games is we should be growing from 5 to 7. I need to see 8, 9, or 10. Let me you know what? Let me get this 8 out of my mouth. Let me see 9 or 10 wins. Then you know it was a success. But I think that we're going to exceed expectations, guys. And when I say exceed expectations, nobody's really looking at the coaching factor. They're just looking at personnel. I think Flores is the perfect fit for the Miami Dolphins organization. He's going to show that this year. I really do believe that we're going to shock everybody and run off about 11 plus wins. I really do. And that's a little bit of fandom in there as well. I will tell you that's a little bit of my fandom speaking. But at the same token, if I was to take fandom aside, it's hard for me to pinpoint the number of wins I would give, but it would be a success. And I already told you, a success to me is 9 or better. So my fandom has us around 11. Success is about 9 or 10 to me without fandom. So I know that we're going to shock people and we're going to exceed expectations. And I think, and you know what? Let me defend myself and get on some of those individuals that say, you have to understand it's a tough schedule. They got to gel. They got to learn. I'm with that. And I hear that. I'm with that. And I hear that. But you know what? I personally feel like a lot of people that are saying that as well, they're bracing themselves. Just like I'm being optimistic, they're being the opposite, okay? They're being the exact opposite, pessimistic. They just want to, just in case they're wrong. If they're optimistic, they can't be wrong being pessimistic. So they're just gonna, I think reasonably we should ask for about 6 to 7 wins. This is a process. They're just trying not to be hurt, in my opinion. They're keeping it real, but a part of that, let's just come on, man. Because I think when you look at it that way, you're not really considering coaching. What can Flores do? What impact can he have on the win-loss ratio? What impact can he have? And I personally feel like that's our wild card. That's the guy that none of us are talking about. That's the guy who came in last year, cleaned it out, had the worst roster in the NFL, if you ask me. Some would even say worse than Cincinnati's roster when you put it all together on paper. Had the worst roster, and look what he was able to do to it. Let's get that straight, ladies and gentlemen. Cincinnati, you can argue Cincinnati had a better roster than us last year. You can argue that. I'm talking about when you take our injured players out of the situation. Every team in the NFL just about had a better roster than us. The 4 teams that drafted before us probably had a better roster than us. But you know what? We were able to produce more wins with the worst roster. We were able to produce more wins in those teams with the worst roster. So, come on, when you got a roster that's hanging in the top 15, our roster's top 15. That's my belief. When you got a roster that's top 15, come on now. With the coach that we have, that took the worst roster and at least made it number 5, better than 4 other teams. So if we got a top 15 roster now, we might be scratching top 10 in this NFL. That's why I say 10, 11 games might be the case. It might even go further and shock you, man. It's a lot we haven't seen. What is Chan Gailey going to look like in this offense? What is he going to bring to the table? How does he have these guys moving the ball? Is it free? Are guys open? Are running lanes open? Does it feel like we're doing it at will? These are all things we don't know. We could be optimistic about. It. But what if the optimism is spot on? And that's what I personally feel like. When you have the right coaches, your optimism you're not reaching. Your optimism isn't reaching. So I personally feel like we're going to have a really good season, man. I mean, when you look at situations like Charles Harris, man, Greer out here, hey, cutting the cord now. And it's funny to me, Charles Harris is going to spend his 4th NFL season with the Atlanta Falcons. And they've decided not to pick up his 5th-year option because they have to do it now if they're going to. They traded for the guy and said, we don't believe in you past 2020. We're not going to pick up your 5th-year option, which he would have made $10 million, ladies and gentlemen. We would have made $10 million if they picked up the 5th-year option. And that's what Miami was dumping. We're dumping the little salary now and that $10 million option in the 5th year. And Atlanta said, we're not picking it up either. You got this 1 year to prove yourself, or it is what it is. So good luck to Charles Harris, ladies and gentlemen. It just didn't work in Miami. The kid was virtually non-existent in the Miami Dolphins. With the Miami Dolphins, I believe he started like 8 games in his entire 3 seasons, over 41 games. Just non-existent, man. But sometimes a different team, a different scheme, and a different coach can make all the difference. I wish him luck. So who knows? You might look up and say, look at Charles Harris out here with 10 sacks. How come everybody get good when Miami let him go? Well, let's get one thing straight. Even if that happened, you can't look at the current regime and say that they made a mistake and let him go. It's just like Tannehill. You can't look at the current regime and say they made a mistake and let him go. They were going to clean house anyway, regardless of how good you were, unless you proved it over and beyond. And guess what? The team gave him an option to prove it last year, and it didn't work. Who else did they give an option to prove it? Devontae Parker, and it worked. So he only had 1 year to prove it here in Miami, and it didn't happen. Devontae Parker only had 1 year to prove it in Miami. Luckily, it happened. They signed him on a 2-year deal, but they weren't going to keep it. If Devontae Parker would have had half the production he had last season, he would be in the same situation, possibly getting us a 5th or a 6th rounder right now. Devontae Parker would have been getting traded during this same time frame, just like Charles Harris, giving us a draft pick, and luckily that worked out. Unfortunately, it didn't for Charles Harris, and hopefully he has a bright future. I hope it turns the corner. Good luck to the kid, man. It just didn't work in Miami. Didn't work in Miami. But then you look at Taco Charlton on the other hand. Now, this is where TD, digs into his bag. And I say, hey, I don't have no proof of this, but I wanted to share it with you all because there are rumors rumbling around the organization. And I personally don't know how true they are, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Some people like, well, I was disappointed. I told y'all the other day I was disappointed that we cut Taco because I thought that, they could continue to work with him and he could be very serviceable, even if it's as a backup. That was a good piece to have at a low salary. I thought that was a really low salary considering the production that he gave. He was the leading sacker on the team last year with 5. Some people don't look at 5 as a lot, but in a Flores-style defense, 5 is right where you need to be as long as the pressures are there. But they decided to move on from Taco. And it kind of scratched my head. I was like, okay, maybe they saw something that we didn't. I know there were issues at the end of the year. He wasn't making it on the field as much, X, Y, and Z. It was interesting. His playing time was getting cut. And a lot of people, there are some rumors out right now saying that he may have had an attitude that just was not conducive to the overall success of what we're trying to build here in Miami. And what that is, in other words, some people would consider him a hothead. Hey, I need you to do this. He may have a little sly things to say about it. He's just not gelling with the authority that's being presented in front of him. The coaching maybe per se. And it wasn't a good fit from a relationship standpoint from what I understand. So it just wasn't working out for the organization. And it was interesting to me because I looked at how much he was supposed to make this year. And I said, well, he actually had a little dead cap hit, almost $500,000 dead cap. And I said, that's a little bit of incentive to keep him. And when they cut him, it makes me feel like there had to be bigger circumstances than just on the field. And those circumstances didn't add up with on the field. So therefore, they decided to move on and gain some capital in the process with the Atlanta Falcons by picking up a 7th round pick. So until we hear from Taco and his thoughts, Right now, the rumor out is he had a bad attitude. He wasn't a good fit in the locker room. Therefore, moving on. And it is what it is. No love lost. Even me, myself. Oh, I kind of wanted us to keep Taco. Oh, it is what it is. Peace. Because a locker room is fragile. If this is true, a locker room is very fragile. It's fragile. You need people to ride into war with you, to go all out with you. And one little bad apple in that can cause two more people around them to start thinking a different way. Start playing preservative football. Well, if we ain't going to do it the way I want it, I ain't going to go all out on this or all that. It's all kind of stuff that could be going on. And you can't have it. Great coaches do not allow that in their franchise. They just don't. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how good. Great franchises don't allow it. They just don't allow it. And I haven't looked at it, but I think that we're probably the youngest team in the league, but I'm gonna guess and say one of the youngest teams in the league because I haven't looked it up yet. We're one of the youngest teams in the league. Just like your little 1-year-old, 2-year-olds, and 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds out there. Listen, minds are fragile. Whatever they pick up now, they take it as gospel. That's what it is. You don't want any negative behaviors in that locker room around these kids, man. Flores' main job is to turn young men from their adolescence and make them grown men out there on the field and off the field. So you can't have any distractions, any behavioral distractions. You got some good kids coming in. Tua Tagovailoa is a great kid. Great kid. Noah is a great kid. All our draft picks are great kids, man. They're great kids. They're great kids, man. And I can tell you now, we don't need anybody to be converted into a Minkah Fitzpatrick. We don't need anybody to be converted into a Minkah Fitzpatrick. Not only that, when you bring in certain players that you are taking a risk on, you're banking on the fact that they're really, really young, because we have some kids on this roster who's gotten in some trouble before. We're going to talk about that in this upcoming week. Some guys on the roster who are really good fits for this team could actually make it. Put it like that. We got some Mark Waltons on the team. Let me not say some. 1 or 2 Mark Waltons that I know are on the team. And we'll talk about it this week. And hopefully Flores can show them the tape. Show him Mark Walton. Use Mark Walton as an example. Look at a kid who has some issues. We took a chance on him. Look how it came back and burnt us. We don't regret taking the chance because we just signed you. Can you please learn from his mistakes? We'll talk about those this week, some of those young individuals, because we all thought that Mark Walton was earning himself a starting running back position in the NFL. Y'all tell me if I'm lying. With the production he was starting to give in week, I'm guessing here, week 4, 5, 6, 7 or something like that. With the production he was starting to provide us, we all thought sat there like, hold on, now Mark Walton might be earning himself something bigger than he could ever have thought of. It ruined it all. Ruined it all, man. Everybody got things they're dealing with, but we got to make sure we have a locker room where if you have a few of those guys, they're surrounded by strong-minded individuals who are always helping them progress their life instead of going backwards, man. It's already hard enough for some of these guys off the field at home, so we can't have that. So I can understand why we would be cutting bait with Taco Charlton. And he's going to the Chiefs, and that might be the best situation for him. Who knows? If they repeat again, he might be winning a Super Bowl, just like Damian Williams. Who knows? If the Dolphins have something to say about it, we'll stop that. Super Bowl bound, baby. But at the same token, I wish Taco the best too, because I know the kid has talent and he has something in him. I just think he needs the right situation and the right attitude to unleash it. And maybe he'll be able to understand that in Cincinnati, and maybe the Miami Dolphins is a wake-up lesson for him in these times. So we shall see, man. We shall see. Somebody said Dak going to Patriots. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know they brought Andy Dalton in. And I've been wanting to talk about that for a little bit. Them bringing Andy Dalton in, if I was Jerry Jones, man, I would tell Dak, hey, all the offers that I'm giving Dak that he's declining, if I was Jerry Jones today, I would go back to the table and say, Dak, here's your final offer, and I'll make it less than the last offer I gave. And then I wouldn't talk to him again. I wouldn't talk to Dak Prescott again. I would tell Andy Dalton, if he doesn't show up, you come to camp ready to be the starting quarterback. And if he holds out, you will be our starting quarterback. You have this 1 year to prove yourself, and if you ball out, I will sign you on a long-term deal, and they're gonna get a discount because it's Andy Dalton. And what would Dak do right now? Well, I'm sitting out. Okay, sit out. We can make it better for you. If you want to forfeit all your rights, we can cut you. Just sign this paper saying we can do it. You ain't getting paid anyway sitting out, so we can cut you, let you be a free agent right now. Who gonna sign him? Who got the money right now to sign him? Hopefully a team, Jerry Jones better understand the leverage that he has right now, because Dak Prescott can end up just like Clowney. And I actually agree with somebody who Mike Pellegrino said this. He said Dalton is another Tannehill, very average. And when you put a great team around him, he gonna look above average. You know why? Because the team gonna make him look better. And that's why, if I was Jerry Jones, I'll go ahead and stand for something. Because Jerry Jones is the one general manager right now. I already know Jerry Jones going to end up folding. He going to give him a lot of money, which is stupid in my opinion. But if he don't, I'm going to be the proudest man ever of Jerry Jones. I'm going to actually commend Jerry Jones. You know why? Because Jerry Jones is one of the few coaches out here that realizes right now, if I give this kid $40 million, it's not to get better. It's actually to get worse. Because giving him $40 million doesn't make the team better. It's the same old team. It's the exact same team that can't even get past the first round of the playoffs, let alone barely ever make it. So giving you 40 just to say I still got this man right here and it ain't bringing me more wins, it's the same team. Matter of fact, me saying it's the same team is being generous, because after I give you the 40, because you're going from like 6 million all the way to 40. Now I have to look at my roster and say, where can I trim the other 34 million that I just took away? We already let go Byron Jones because we couldn't afford it. We already let go a pass rusher because we couldn't afford it. Thank God our all-pro lineman retired. That cleared up some money, but we still got to replace that position. We don't get better. We bleed in other areas, and Jerry Jones understands that, and that's the debacle that they're in. And this is why I warn all these teams. I warn the Baltimore Ravens. You give Lamar Jackson $40 million, you're signing a guy not to get better, but to take away a little bit of talent from around him and asking him to, I don't know what you're asking him. I mean, you're getting the best. I mean, how much better can it get from Lamar Jackson? Maybe he can become a great passer. I don't know. Same thing with Mahomes. When that time comes, same thing with Lamar Jackson, but Deshaun Watson. That's the next one. Same situation. Tunsil just got his 22. I'm happy for Tunsil, boy. I ain't been happier for a player getting money in a while. Tunsil just got his 22. People think they were clearing up cap space by letting the receiver go for for watching. They'll probably let him go to clear up cap for Tunsil. Oh man, Tunsil saying I'm finna play a proud 3 years at $22 million each. Tunsil getting his cash, man. And Tunsil has a right to demand more money. You know why? Because on draft night he got snubbed. Tunsil lost out on probably $20 million on draft night. That man could have went top 3. Some say he could have went number 1. I think they would have still went another way, but some say he should have been top 3. That man missed out on about $20 million from a released gas mask, and he's been the most model citizen in the NFL. The most model citizen on the Miami Dolphins franchise since he came in. The most model. Never heard nothing from him, never heard any drama, always spoke fluently, always said the right things at the right time, always was willing to do whatever his coaches asked, came in, didn't even play left tackle, played left guard because Brandon Albert was at left tackle, then went right to left. Come on. He deserved to get more. He deserved to set the market. Because he got robbed. And guess what? We got those years out of him. Would y'all have been okay paying Tunsil $22 million a year with Miami? I hope y'all say no. Please say no. Because I already know some of y'all are probably ready to type. Absolutely. Nah, you don't pay the man $22 million, y'all. You know, we were debating last season. Are we willing to get a man 17, 18? He got 22. Ooh, Tunsil, I'm proud of you, homie. I am proud of you, homie. Ooh, I love it. Long as it didn't say the Miami Dolphins has inked Tunsil to a mega deal of $22 million, I am happy for you. I promise y'all I'm happy for him. Last year, I was sitting here debating the reason why he's going to get traded. I don't know if we're willing to give him 17, 18 million. Y'all heard me last year. I don't know if we're willing to get this man 18 million. Everybody was like, pay the man. And then I used to throw out stuff. What if he won 19? What if he won 20? TD, you just stretching it now. It ain't that serious. Come on, man. The man got 22. Tunsil, I'm proud of you, man. Congratulations. Congratulations, man. Go and get your cash, man. And then the beautiful thing about the 22, they had no choice. You just gave up 2 years of future draft picks for this one guy. He could have asked for whatever he wanted. They would have been the ones that have lost. He could have. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure. First of all, I was just going to say he could have said 24, but him asking for 22 was like asking for 24. He hit him upside the head. I want to be the highest paid offensive left tackle in the NFL. That's what he said. I think I deserve it, but I'm going to let them work that out. I'm here to do whatever my coaches ask me to do. I'm not worried about that. Still speaking that good stuff. I love it. And he came in and he got 22. He got what he asked for because they had to give him what he asked for. You know why? Because they literally traded 2 years of future top picks for him. You got to give him what he asked for. Because if you would have let him play this year and walk afterwards, what in the heck did you just do? 2 years of draft picks and you ain't even got the player? Oh, Tunsil was in a perfect situation. I bet you, man, Miami Dolphins probably coached him. They probably said, hey, when we see you over there, go ball out, man. If you ball out, you got them, you holding them by the neck. You get whatever you want. You get whatever you want. And they got it, and he got it. I'm proud of Tunsil. Good job, Tunsil, because the Miami Dolphins wouldn't finna give that kind of money. It wasn't going to happen. Oh, did I freeze on y'all? Y'all give me a second. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me in the comment section. Can you hear me? Yes, they can hear me, but frozen. I'm so sorry, y'all. Y'all give me. All right, I think I'm back now, man. I think I'm back. Y'all let me know. I'll verify with y'all if I'm back or not. Let me turn my settings up. Oh, good. Yeah, you're back. Okay, cool. My bad, man. I just hit the camera, my digital camera cord, man. But I'm back, man. Tunsil had me hyped for a second, man. Tunsil had me hyped for a second. This is why also the investment on trading Tunsil for those first round picks. Houston Texans, man, it might be hard for them to make the playoffs. We'll see. Honestly, I'm hoping Tennessee has a great season, but because if they don't make the playoffs, that's a huge up for our draft stock. That's a huge asset for our draft stock. We already used one of them this year. We used the 26th pick and we traded it out for Noah. So we got a secondary. What we really did is when it got Tunsil's replacement at 18. Yeah, so I think it worked out great. We profited. Just imagine our 18th pick, the left tackle working out, or our combination of guys that we received. Those guys working out at left tackle and being really good. Do you realize that we would have net profited tons for Laremy Tunsil? We would have got a net profit of whatever we draft next year for Laremy Tunsil. And that's a huge opportunity for us, man. Let me make sure I update this. All right, my bad, guys. I had seen a donation come through that I missed when we were out, so I wanted to give him a shout out. Shout out to Jason Brown. Said probably traded Hopkins to pay him. LOL. Exactly. That was my point exactly. You probably traded Hopkins to make room for Tunsil. It still ain't gonna get no better when they gotta sign Watson. They're going to have to comb through the roster and sign Watson. So if you think about it, the face of the franchise will be Watson and Tunsil. Watson and Tunsil will be the immediate face of the franchise. They feel like they got the best tackle, left tackle in the league and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. That's going to be their franchise. That's the face of the franchise. Those are your big contracts. Those two guys might take up about $60 million when Watkins get his money. 60, y'all. Even if the cap is 210, then 60. You got 150 million left for about 53 players, an average of about $2.9 million per player. It gets tough. It gets tough, ladies and gentlemen. Man, it gets tough. We shall see how that works out. Let me see. What did this gentleman say? Tunsil got 12% of the Texans salary cap in certain years. Yes. Shout out to Dwayne, the homie in the building. What's going on, man? He said Tunsil got 12% of the salary cap. And Deshaun Watson might get 22%. He might get about 22% of the cap. That's going to be a total of about 34% coming from two players. I love it. See, Tunsil is our secret agent right now without trying to be. Go and mess their books up and keep on getting them false starts. A lot of people don't know that he was the highest penalized lineman last year. I think he had like 23 or 24 flags thrown on him. Still great, but he was the number one penalized lineman in the NFL last year. It was crazy, man. You understand this man averaged about 1.5 penalties a game? That's not good. That is terrible, y'all. But it doesn't matter because you gave up the farm for this guy, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, man. I'm going to be honest with y'all. What is Tunsil's true value? Here's what I think Tunsil is actually worth. Fair market value. $17 million a year. Fair market value. And that's at the top. Coming off all of those those penalties and stuff like that, $17 million. If he didn't have the penalty issues, 18.5. The man got 22, y'all. 22. Whew. God, he getting quarterback money. The man getting quarterback money, man. Quarterback. It's crazy. But I'm with it, man. Like I said, I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. Do your thing, Tunsil. Let me see what y'all got to say about this in the comment section. What we've done recently. Clowney's still not signed. I know. Can he end up in Miami? Woo! I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, I could play around with the scenario. Laremy Tunsil signed a 3-year, $66 million contract from the Houston Texans, including a $13 million signing bonus, $50 million guaranteed, and an average annual salary of $22. He already got his $13 million check. He in Houston picking out his mansion right now. Ooh, well, he should already have some money, but still. 50. Hey, hold on. I didn't know it was $50 million guaranteed. I didn't know it was $50 million guaranteed. Wow. Even if they cut him in the third season, he's still gonna be like, give me my $6 million so I can go somewhere else and make at least $15 million. Oh my gosh. When you talk about winning, $50 million guaranteed. Oh my gosh. Wow. In 2020, Tunsil will earn a base salary of $10.85 million and a signing bonus of $13 million while carrying, a cap hit of $14.1 million and a dead cap value of $40 million. And that dead cap of $40 million, that means they're going to keep him all 3 years because next year's dead cap after next year, he's still going to have probably about $20 million of dead cap on there. So it wouldn't make any sense to cut him. Basically, the way his contract is set up, he's kind of locked in for the 3 years. Oh my gosh. Sweet, man. Tunsil eating. I'm happy for the kid. It all worked out. Now we have to see if it works out on our end. Guys. We have to make sure that a player that is currently on our roster works out as his replacement, and we are just fine with it. Because if it doesn't, and you still have to go into a draft next year to find it, then the only thing you improved on was saving money and still looking for the player. So it has to work out. It has to work out, man. Clowney sighting outside Disney World waiting for them to open. Oh, Lord, y'all a mess. Y'all leave Clowney alone. He might end up being a Dolphin. Y'all gonna look up. This man gonna be a Miami Dolphin. Oh, man, he didn't want to play for us then. Why want him now, TD? That's unfair. I know I was one of the main people shouting, "Oh, forget him. He don't want to be with us." Oh, well, because that's true. But at the same token, come on, you got to play both sides of the field. Havoc one said, who's going to break through from slot? Merritt. We're going to talk about that, Havoc. Give me a second, man. But y'all got to be fair about that Clowney situation. A lot of players wouldn't have wanted to come to Miami at the current situation. They're getting rid of all their best players. Everybody in the world talking about tanking for Tua. Is it wrong to want to go try to win a Super Bowl? So Clowney said, what options do I have? Miami, this team, that team, Seattle. Who gives me the best chance to win something and increase my value? Seattle gave him that chance. Seattle gave him a chance to increase his value and win. Unfortunately, they didn't win. And second off, he didn't increase his value. You know, he has to feel like he has to feel, I don't want to say a fool or an idiot. But since I said I didn't want to say it, y'all get my point. But he got to feel like something right now because the Miami Dolphins wanted to trade for you. So if the Miami Dolphins were trying to trade for you, if you would have came in that trade, you would have been looking like Laremy Tunsil right now. That's the sickening part about it. It wouldn't have been as good. Miami would have been like 18 a year. But listen, you would have been getting paid and you would have been happy like Laremy Tunsil was right now. And I'm so glad that it all worked out. It was better for us that we didn't at the time because if we still do, that means we're going to do it on a much friendlier deal. This was perfect. I appreciate that, Ed Dowling. Yeah, Clowney has to feel really sick. He has to feel really sick right now. Team wanted to trade for you and take care of you. They coveted you. We coveted him, guys. He screwed that up. He screwed that up. That's on him. Hey, Dwayne is right. Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make. 100. That is so true. All right, so real quick. Havoc One said, who's going to break through for slot? Merritt? All right, y'all. I'm not going to talk about this much right now because it deserves its own video. But I've been teasing y'all the last several days. And thank y'all for being patient with me because TD did not feel great the last 2 days. But I'm back at it now. I feel a whole lot more energized and better. But we got to talk about this kid. Kirk Merritt. We're going to probably tomorrow, we're going to come in the room, we're going to come in the booth, and we're going to talk about this kid, Kirk Merritt. If he can stay out of trouble, he's going to be our future. I truly do believe he has the potential. And a Flores, listen, everything I've learned about this kid and what I've saw, man, there's so much I want to say about it right now, but I want to save it for his own stream because I'll be doing a disservice just blowing through it. He's special, and I love it. He's special, man. We got to talk about this kid really soon. It's a lot of these young guys that went undrafted that we have to talk about. It's quite a few. It's quite a few of these kids we got to talk about. They have what it takes to make this roster. And that's tough, y'all. I'm sitting here telling y'all about some undrafted people that have a chance to make this roster with the roster we have. Shh. Do y'all realize how serious this roster is now? Shout out to Ed Dowling says, shout out to TDPHINSTALK. We love you, man. We love you. Y'all better hear what I'm saying right now. I'm not even playing with y'all right now. There's some kids on this roster that was signed undrafted that could make this roster. And Kirk Merritt is one of them. It's another one as well. We're going to talk to y'all on Thursday about him. I ain't going to give it away yet, but you're going to want to hear about this one as well. It's some special kids that we drafted that we didn't draft, that we signed. There's a reason why teams say, okay, let's see what it is. It's a frenzy, guys. 7th round is over. As soon as the 7th round is over, teams are at it. After the 7th round, it's more busy in the war room than the 1st round or any part of the draft. Please call this kid. Make sure you call that kid. It's the players that they knew that weren't going to get drafted because they might have played for smaller schools, or you scouted them and they're a gem, but their team won 4 games. It's a lot of kids that get no recognition because of the program they're in, but they have all the intangibles. They have all the skill. They're the lone standout person on their team, but they just get no recognition. They get no recognition. It reminds me of a boy in college, Eric Weems. Eric Weems, I went to college with him at Bethune-Cookman University. Smaller HBCU college. But he went to the Atlanta Falcons and played with them, 6, 7, 8, 9 years? I don't even remember how many years. Kickoff returner, wide receiver, made some huge plays. It's a lot of these kids out there. Make an NFL roster and be really good. These small schools always got that 1 or 2 players that everybody know they should go to the pro, but it's a small school. But when you see them go, it's like, yeah, they should. They just don't play for the bigger schools or notable schools. We're going to talk about some of these individuals. This week, we're going to talk about a lot of them. But Kirk Merritt is one I want to talk to y'all about. And on Thursday in particular, and I'll tell y'all why as the week goes on, I want to talk to you about another one who's special, who has a huge opportunity to make a name for himself and make this team. Y'all going to see, man. We found Cam Wake in Canada, TD. My point exactly. They're out here. They're out here, y'all. They're out here. They are out here. So Merritt, we're going to talk about him tomorrow. I'm not putting that off anymore, man. Merritt, we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about several of these kids all week. And Thursday, I got a little treat for y'all. We're going to talk about another individual that has a good shot at making this roster, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. This is TD Fans Talk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans, man. Let me see a little bit more. Read a few more comments before I get out of here for the night. We all care. I know we do. I'll be here. Did my homework on Merritt. Kid is special, man. Also, Bryce Sturck is nice. It's a lot of these. See, that's why it's a frenzy. These are the guys. Let me tell y'all, the undrafted guys are a true representation of the scouts. What are you finding in the undrafted arena? The guys that weren't drafted, but you were real high on them, but you know many people don't know about them. You know, you may go to their school, you scouting them, and you talking to the college coach. Hey, anybody else been taking a look at this kid? Nobody. Oh, okay. And you keep watching and you're like, man, he has the potential. You see what he's missing, but we feel like our coaching staff, that's their strength. They can make that great, and this is going to be a hell of a player. Those are the guys. I mean, we had a roster full of undrafteds last year. Some of them have risen their stock in this NFL. So don't forget, I think Flores loved himself an undrafted guy who has a chip on his shoulder, gonna do everything right. And you know, it's hard to find an undrafted guy with an attitude. It's hard to. They're out there. I'm just saying, though, it's hard to. Malcolm Perry remind me of Wes Welker, but faster and shiftier. You know, Kirk Merritt remind me of? Kirk Merritt reminds me of he reminds me of Dez Bryant. That moves better, possibly. I think he moves better than Dez. Kirk Merritt reminds me of Dez Bryant with more moves. If y'all know who Kurt Merritt is, y'all tell me if I'm on point with that one. I'm just wondering. It just that's what I feel. He's Dez Bryant, but knows how to play lanes better, knows how to move with the ball better. I like the person who said that 2019 Miami Miracle said Merritt is like Landry to me. I'm not going to say he's like Merritt or Dez. He's a combination. He's a Dez Bryant who knows how to go up and get the ball, snatch it, high point it, but he can also move like Landry in an open field. I think that's the perfect combination. Put those two together. Because Landry ain't no leap guy snatching the ball over you. That's not Landry. Landry, get me the ball in the open field, I'm going to make something happen. But Merritt has that plus the Dez Bryant effect. Going up and getting it. Climbing on top of you to go get the ball. Just, man, I hit that stuff tomorrow, man. I'll hit it tomorrow, man. Man, it's crazy. That's me, Steve Smith mentality. Hey, TD, when you get an opportunity, answer my Cowboys take and what will happen if Rosen balls out and takes the starting job in camp. Phins up. Ooh. I didn't get your Cowboys take. I didn't see that. But if Rosen balls out and take the starting job in camp, give me a second. I'm sorry, I locked it. All right, so if Rosen balls out in camp and takes the starting job, that is a beautiful thing for the Miami Dolphins. Because at that moment, we would have determined that we have either found a starting quarterback and or our solidified backup for years to come potentially, and or a much more valuable trade asset. So, and that's just a reality. If he balls out and he leads this team, like hypothetically, let's say crazy optimistic. All right, you wanna talk? Crazy optimism. Rosen gets us 10 wins 2 playoff games, and we go to the AFC Championship and lose. Just throw it out there, right? He pulls a Tannehill. That's a great situation to have. That is a great situation to have. See, because what do you do now when you got Tua Tagovailoa on a rookie deal, and you got Josh Rosen, who has a whole nother year after this year on a rookie deal? What you do is you keep both of them next year in 2021 and let them battle it out of camp. And if Rosen still shows that he has that mojo, you still allow Tua to sit behind him. If Tua's outplaying him, then you go ahead and trade Rosen since the value has increased because you're going to go with the better guy. But if Rosen is playing better than Tua Tagovailoa, then you let Tua stay a second year and you let him stay learning the NFL system. Because you can't rely on Rosen having 2 good seasons to just be the end-all be. I mean, 1 good season to be the end-all be. You got to see 2 phenomenal seasons. And what I mean by phenomenal seasons, you got to play at an Aaron Rodgers level for 2 seasons straight to change the narrative in Miami. If you ain't playing at that level for 2 seasons, well, if you're not playing at that level and the guy behind you and Tua is balling out, then only thing we're doing is increasing your draft value. But if you're playing at that kind of level, then you have to literally consider after 2 years when Rosen's up for his new deal, you have to consider giving Rosen a new contract and keeping him going and then continuing to hold on to Tua for even 2 more years until he finishes out his rookie deal as insurance. How long did Aaron Rodgers sit on the bench before he started? I don't remember the exact number. Was it 3-4 years? How long did Aaron Rodgers sit on the bench? Y'all let me know in the comment section. How long did Aaron Rodgers sit on the bench? 3 years. So it's a luxury. If Rosen's balling out, shocking the world to that extent, then he's your quarterback, and you have a guy like Tua behind him. Because who's to say? You still got injuries. Rosen could suffer a major injury. Tua could. You just keep them as long as one of them's on a rookie deal. And once Tua's rookie deal is over and Rosen's still the guy, now you get the luxury again of deciding which one of these guys are you going to trade for a first-round pick. Because at that point, if both of them are on your rosters 4 years from now, that means both of them are worth the first-round pick. That means that's how good both of them are. Multiple firsts might even be. Multiple. It's a good luxury to have. And that's just how it is. So that's how I would work it out. I would just keep both of those guys. Always have the ultimate competition. Rosen gets better, he can never feel safe. If they decide to go with Tua anyway and Rosen's gotten better, Tua can never feel safe. Never. But again, that's all if Rosen starts performing like Aaron Rodgers. But I'm just answering the question, guys. Don't beat me up. A lot of people don't feel that would happen, but time will tell. Time shall tell. Oh, Lord, he behind that chair pulling the balloon. This TD Fit, y'all see the ghost? Y'all see that ghost? You see the balloon moving? Ooh. That's a ghost, y'all. Y'all see him. Y'all see it. Oh, man. But this is TD FinStalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. That is my cue to go out there and love all my babies because they miss daddy, I guess. I'm about to get out of here. I will see y'all tomorrow. Back at it. We got to talk about Kirk Merritt. We're going to be talking about some more of these undrafted free agents. Then the following week, we're going to start breaking down the roster the right way since we have a great idea of the players that are going to be on it now. We're going to be doing a bio. I already have the depth chart. I know somebody in the comment section keeps asking me, when am I going to do a chart or whatever? I already have it, but we just have to run through it and discuss it. All right. So this is TD FinStalk, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Let me get off the stream before he tears up the room. Love y'all. Peace. Cammy, Cam, what you doing? Huh? Huh? Love you. All right, come on, let's go. Let's go. What mommy doing? What your brother's doing, huh? All right, I'm coming. All right, y'all, I'll see y'all later. Hey, you're going to come say bye since you took over the show. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye. Say adios. He sounded it out at least. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Tickle. I'll see y'all later, man. Love y'all. Fins up, everybody. Peace.